Welcome back into Browns Live. Nathan Zegura joined by the head coach of your Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, for this week's game preview presented by Ticketmaster. And Coach, the season starts where last season ended. Arrowhead Stadium, the two-time defending AFC champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. When you go ahead and pop that tape back on, I'm sure you've been looking at that quite a bit over the course of this offseason. What stands out to you about this football team?
It's very rare to play the same team from the year before, especially a non-division team. So it's unique to put the tape on. They're in a different spot than last time. We're in a different spot than last time. But it's still the last game both of us have played. So they're studying that tape like crazy, as are we. And you really just try to make sure you go to the game armed with the guys with some opportunities to go make plays, and they're doing the same. But to see that same opponent, it is unique.
Incredible skill position talent, an incredible quarterback in Pat Mahomes. I mean, this is one of the most dynamic offenses in the NFL. But are you able to take anything from that Super Bowl? And I think it's pretty obvious, right? Pressure bursts pipes, and pressure disrupts even the greatest quarterbacks. But is that going to be one of the real keys, is going against their revamped offensive line with our revamped defensive line?
Certainly, you always want to pressure the quarterback and make a quarterback uncomfortable. That's not newsworthy. And that's always what we're going to try and do with our defensive line. I know they did revamp their offensive line with some really, really good players. I have a ton of respect for not only the players they brought in, but also their coaching staff. They know what they need to do moving forward, so we got to be ready to adjust to whatever that is. But we anticipate that there'll be a really explosive offense that we have to find ways to stop.
One of the things coming out of that game was you guys wanted to add speed to this defense. I think that was pretty obvious when you look at the overall, the totality of those offseason moves on that side of the ball. Do you feel now like you have some of the speed to maybe try and match up with some of the speed that they have, which is pretty elite?
Yeah, I think anytime you're playing a great offense like we are in the Kansas City Chiefs, you have to balance it with different coverage, different pressures, different fronts, all of the above, because ultimately they have just great team speed. So to say that our speed negates it, I think we just got to play sound defense throughout. And really it's from snap one through whatever they end up playing.
What's kind of the mood amongst the guys? Because there are a lot of new faces here, but there are also a lot of guys that are key contributors, especially on the offense side of the ball. You're basically bringing everybody back that played in that game against Kansas City last year.
I think the guys are ready to go. It's that time. You know, it was a long off season for everybody. It was a long training camp. So to be able to finally dive into game week, dive into the preparations of what game week looks like and feels like, I think the guys are excited.
I know you're excited. I know you love that process, and I can tell you from talking to a lot of guys on your offensive staff, they love that collaboration when you guys get together and say, okay, let's hash out this game plan for this week. How nice is it knowing that the coaches are the same, the players are by and large the same, some new pieces that were added in obviously from your rookie class, but what kind of advantage do you think that maybe gives you, or comfort that it gives you to have that continuity and say, okay, last year we did A, B, C, but now we can do A, B, C, D, E, F?
Yeah, I think it helps for sure in your process. I think when you have continuity, like you mentioned, through the staff, through the players, it gives you a chance to have continuity in your process. Maybe it makes your process a little bit more efficient, if you will. So the guys have really worked hard to make sure that we're giving them a bunch of plays that arm them with the ability to go make a play.
Coach, I know how much you like Nick Chubb, and obviously the extension that he was rewarded with in this offseason proves how much he likes this organization and that the organization likes him. We haven't gotten to see him yet. How excited are you to see him carry the ball?
Well, we've seen him at practice, and I think he's ready to go. I mean, Nick, as everybody knows, is diligent about his work, came in great shape. He's excited. He's ready to go, and I think the guys are excited to see him out there in a game.
All right, Coach, on Browns Live, we always take a question from our fans, and this one comes from a Twitter handle, @King Stefanski. And he wants to know, what's the biggest question facing this team that you hope to have answered against Kansas City?
I think it's such a long season, so you're going to hit some bumps in the road. Could be in week one, could be in week two, could be really throughout the season. So it's about responding to those moments when you need to have to stop them. You have to get a score, and that's just the course of a 60-minute football game. Those things are going to happen. So I think I'm excited to see our guys in those moments respond.
Coach, thanks so much for the time, and best of luck on Sunday against the Chiefs for the start of what we all hope is a very exciting season.
Thanks, Nathan.